Are the arch and flue attachments for the Gozney dome worth it? Let's find out. We're going to be going over heat up times, recovery times, and if the flue actually helps prevent that nasty black soot mark on the front of your pizza oven. First off, this video is not sponsored by Gozney. I get no benefit whatsoever from telling you if these products are good or bad. I'm just here to spread some knowledge. First off, let's dive into the heat up times. I did a controlled test with the propane dome all by itself. No flue, no arch, just plain Jane version. And here's what we got. It took 40 minutes to get to 850, which isn't bad. It's much better than my natural gas version. It took 68 minutes to get to 950, and it never hit 1,000. Now, that alone wouldn't really make me that mad. I rarely ever cook at 1,000, maybe if I'm searing a steak or something, but for the most part, I cook at 850, so I'm happy with that. But let's see if these can push the boundary a little. Now, I know there's plenty that are gonna tear into me in the comments saying your dome gets to 1,000 degrees in 15 minutes or less. This is the dome I'm testing and the results I've seen from this dome. I'm not saying all domes are the same, but at least we can get the numbers on this dome with this arch and this flue and see the difference. So let's dive into the heat up times for the arch attachment. But first, speaking of heat up times, I want to take a quick second to talk about today's sponsor of our video, which is BedJet. I personally reached out to them and asked if they would like to be a sponsor on our channel. I've been reviewing their product and looking it over and have really wanted to try it out. So what it is, it's a system you can put on your bed to help you heat up or cool down to help you sleep better at night. I have the version with the sheet, so the air gets distributed nice and equally over you during your sleep. I personally have loved it. I have it heat me up just a little before bed, knocks me out super quick, and then later in the night it will cool me down. I'm a hot sleeper. I wake up all the time because I'm hot, throwing off blankets. Then I wake up because I'm cold because the blanket's off. But with the BedJet, I've been able to keep a nice cool temperature all night, and the airflow actually helps wick away moisture, sweat, wake up dry. Not that I pee the bed. So for me, the BedJet has made a huge difference on my sleep. I'm not just saying that, guys. You know I love to review things. And the BedJet is definitely worth checking out. They've got a 60-day guarantee. So if you don't like it within the first 60 days, you can return it. So go ahead and check out the link in description and check out and see if a BedJet's right for you. Now back to our scheduled programming. Let's take a look at the numbers for the heat up time on the arch. So we hit 850 in 25 minutes. So that's 15 minutes less than without the arch. That's huge. 35 minutes to hit 950 and 41 minutes to hit 1,000. And it went far beyond. I don't have the results here, but it got up. I kind of let it go and I had my thermometer taking the temps. Got up to like 1,100. It got way hotter than it needed to. I'd be nervous just to let that thing run on full blast because who knows what will happen. I know I'm throwing a bunch of data and numbers at you. After we've gone through all this, I'll display all the numbers and data so you can pause it, read through it at your own pace, so don't worry too much about that. So now here's the fun part. The flue comes with the arch, so I thought let's throw the flue on with it. I know this is targeted more towards the soot, preventing the soot from building up, but I thought let's throw this on and see what happens. And here's what it did. You can see that it shot up super fast at about 750 degrees, and then it really just tapered off. And it took longer, so it really slowed it down on the heat up time. It took 30 minutes to get to 850, so 5 minutes more, not huge. But then 44 minutes to get to 950, and then 52 minutes to get to 1,000. So the flue does make it take longer. Which brings up one of the thoughts I've had about this accessories. As of this filming, you can buy the arch and the flue together or the flue alone. But you cannot buy the arch alone. If Gozney would just sell the arch alone, it would be in a better price point, and for those who are only ever cooking with propane, the arch would be the way to go. So then I was curious, I wanted to see how the pizza oven would do with just the flue, and this is all on propane, and without the arch. And as expected, it was slower. So It took 52 minutes to get to 850, so almost an hour. That's way too long. It took an hour and a half to get to almost 950, hit like 948, we'll call it 950, but an hour and a half. And then it never went higher than that. I let it run for 2 hours, so an extra half hour, never went above 950. So the Flue is definitely lowering the temp. Let me show you how to install the arch. First thing you want to do is make sure these tabs are out, like so. Then you're going to come in, and that tab, there's this tab right here. You're going to come up, put that in, slide it in, push these tabs over to the side, and you're good to go. It's that easy. And then to install the Flue, even easier, pop this part off the top, put it on your Flue, and it's that easy. So now let's see how the arch does with recovery after cooking a pizza. So our control test, we got the pizza oven up to 850. We launched a pizza, this is without the arch. Launched a pizza, cooked it for a minute and a half on full blast. Took it out, we temped it. It was about 750, and it took about a minute and 10 seconds to get back up to 850, which isn't bad. Minute 10, getting back up. So then we did the same test with the arch. Launched at 850, you know the rest. Pulled it out, temped it was at 805, and it took 35 seconds to get up to 860, 865, somewhere around there, I can't remember, I'll show you. But so it cuts it in half. So if you're cooking a ton of pizzas and they're 12 inchers, the arch is the way to go. It's gonna save you a bunch of time. Now we're gonna put the Flue to the test to see if it actually does what it should, which is drawing that soot and smoke away from the dome so we don't get soot along the front. So we're gonna do a control test first. We've got some wood measured out, it's about 25 ounces, and both this and the next batch are from the exact same log, trying to make it as equal as possible. What we're gonna do is fire this up, let this wood cook, and get an idea of how much soot forms here, and then do it again with the Flue. And the way I like to cook with wood is I like to put it in the middle on this rack so I can slide it over, and I just light it with the propane flame. Okay, so we're about 3-4 minutes into it, and you can see the wood has caught on fire. So I'm gonna go ahead and kill the propane. And then I'll just take a turning peel and move this over. The peel's nice because you can get over that lip from the grate there. Okay, and then what I'll do over here is get underneath this and just slide it into place. Now that our wood's up and going and burning here, you can already see a bunch of black smoke coming out, and you can see it forming a little bit here, but it's kind of hard to see, but yeah, you can see there's smoke coming out of the front and sticking to the front. Yep, so you can see it coming out the top here. We're also getting it coming out right there. So we've wrapped up our first test, and you can see there's a little bit of soot forming up here. There's not really enough soot formed here for me to want to move on to the next test with the Flue. So what we're gonna do is run another batch of wood, exact same amount, close, about 25 ounces. So we're gonna run this amount as well and see how much soot we get and go from there. Okay, we've wrapped up our, really? Okay, we're wrapping up our first test. We did 2 batches of wood, and this is looking much more like what I'm used to seeing when I cook with wood. Nice black soot mark. So definitely set a good baseline here. Let's go ahead and check out. We're gonna do 2 batches and not just keep adding, but run them separately, because I feel like the starting of the wood produces more soot, and I want to have a fair comparison. So let's run through and do 2 with the Flue on. We got the dome reset, it's clean, ready to go. We got the Flue attached. We're gonna go ahead and fire up 2 separate batches of the same amount of wood from the same log and see what kind of results we get. We just wrapped up our second test with the Flue, burned 2 batches of the same amount of wood, and the amount of soot built up on here is very impressive. It's a very small amount. I'll show you a picture. There's just a little bit along here, but compared to our test without the Flue, it's a huge difference. So if you're cooking with wood, the Flue is the way to go. If you're cooking with propane, I could see it helping when you get toppings or other stuff that burns. It could help from getting the soot build up, but where it's gonna hinder is on the temperature, the time it takes to heat up. The Flue does slow down the time to heat up. So you'll have to kind of mix and match how you want, but the Flue is definitely the way to go for keeping the front clean when cooking with wood. So we've established the arch is a huge time saver. The Flue helps significantly when cooking with wood. But what are the drawbacks? Let's start with the Flue. We've already discussed it lowers the temp a bunch. So the Flue is only useful for cooking with wood, in my opinion. Other than that, that's really the only drawback I see. And then the arch. You're limited to 12-inch pizzas. If you were to use the arch to get the temp on the pizza oven up and then try and take it out and then cook a bigger pizza, it's a lot of work and you could burn yourself. So that's not great. So if you're 12 inches or lower, arch is great. If you're gonna be cooking bigger than that, the arch isn't much of a help. You'd be better off with some kind of door. Also, the other drawback is that you can't just buy the arch by itself right now. I did email Gozney, hopefully they'll respond and end up selling just the arch by itself, because I think that would help a bunch of you being able to get in on this at a lower price point. Okay, with those drawbacks, I think this is a great product. I would highly recommend you getting the arch. I don't have a link in the description for you to click on and buy it, because I don't get anything out of this except for the joy in saving you time.